Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with another battle report. So I pulled the Beastmen out for the first time in a while, and am facing an Ogre army, and this is the first time I've actually faced a Gutstar. So I was actually kind of interested to see how a game like this would go. So I brought my favorite Doombull build, and we threw down in the pass. This is his his far left, my far right. It's got a unit of Mornfang cavalry. They've got the Dragonhide banner, and then Iron Blaster behind it. In the middle, he's got some Nobbler Trappers. Behind it, 6 Lead Belchers. To the left is a Saber Tusk. To the far left is an Iron Blaster. And then he's got his point sink, which is, I believe, 15 Iron Guts. And then he's got 3 characters. The things those characters had, I'm really not sure. The things that I know they have are listed. Either the unit or the BSB has a standard of discipline. I don't know which. And, he's got the Hell Heart. He's got the level 4 using Grut's Sickle. So for the most part, a lot of the standard things you see. So I'm looking at his list and I'm thinking, I have no idea how to deal with that Gutstar. I mean, there's nothing I have that can stand up to that. So my plan going into the game is just to try to kill everything else he has on the table and see if I can just win on points. Because any unit I throw with that Gutstar just is going to die. And the only exception to that would be my Doombull once he's revved up. But even then, these guys are strength 6. So every wound they do on him would be a 4-up rerollable armor save. So a quarter of them will go through. And yeah, I mean, he's not going to survive that long against him. So starting on, I guess we'll start on the left of this picture. Harpies, about 25 gore with extra hand weapon, full command. Unit of 39 or 40, 39 gore, extra hand weapon, full command. 2 characters in there, a level 2 who has the transformation of Kadan spell, and then my battle standard bearer. Extremely fragile, but he gives them the strength 4. Let's see, I've got chariot, minotaurs, no command whatsoever, just 7 minotaurs, and my Doombull with my standard build. Chariot, Bestigor, my level 4's in there. Bestigor unit has the standard of discipline, and then I've got some more harpies on the far side. So I win the roll to go first, and I move up as you can see. The big thing is I won my harpies here at the bottom up so that his Mornfang cavalry couldn't charge anything else that I had. If he charges them, I'm just going to take it, and it should allow me to countercharge him on my turn. And if he doesn't charge him, at least I don't know, at least I have a better chance of getting a charge off on my turn and not letting him get the charge. On the top, I've got my harpies up. Really, my goal there is to try to get the charge off on that Saber Tusk and get that so it's not redirecting my Minotaurs. One bad luck that my opponent had was he put the Saber Tusk in that forest, then we rolled for it, and it turned out to be a Venom Thicket, or I'm sorry, not a Venom, a Fungus Forest, so his Saber Tusk is stupid. And I didn't realize this, but I guess Saber Tusks can't use the General's leadership. So, yeah, they don't have great leadership. So my magic phase, I get a beefed up amber spear off on the leftmost Iron Blaster, and I kill it, which really took a lot of pressure off of me because his Iron Blasters scare me because of what they can do to my Minotaurs. I'm not really worried about them hurting my troops because the units are big enough they can probably absorb some of that shooting, but that thing would, they'd probably kill my Doombull pretty easily. So one of them is down. We go to Ogre's turn 1. He moves up, as you can see. The Mornfang go ahead and charge my Harpies. If he wins the combat, if he kills my Harpies outright, which he should, he's going to overrun, and if he rolls a 10 or higher, he'll get the charge into my Horde unit. So, we both know he's going to win. I'm hoping he rolls a 9 or lower. He's hoping he rolls a 10 or higher. And with Swift Stride, that could go either way. Otherwise, everything is as you can see. Goodbye, Harpies. So this piece of terrain in the middle, we're treating it as difficult terrain. So every time I march or charge or anything, I have to take a dangerous terrain test. And of course, when I charge the Noblars, every model in the unit that charges them has to take a dangerous terrain test. So I know this Minotaur unit is going to get whittled down significantly, especially with all that lead belcher shooting. And for the most part, I'm okay with it. I mean, that's a lot of points to say it's just a character delivery system. But there's just nothing else I can do about it, so I just decided not to worry about it. They can take all the dangerous terrain, they can get shot up, and at the end of the day, if the Doombull gets delivered, then I'll count it good. So during the magic phase, he gets chain lightning off, and I do stuff like this all the time. But I let it through because I'm thinking, on my big units, he targeted my horde. My big units D6 hits isn't going to affect it much, and there's a 1/3 chance that it won't bounce. Um, he it bounced every single time he rolled it. So he put wounds on every unit you can see, but he did enough wounds to kill both my chariots and my harpies just like that. Darn it. And that kind of hurts too, because I kind of need points on the board. Because again, my strategy is to kill all of his units except for his troll guts, and his troll guts with 3 characters is a ton of points. So I really kind of need all these points at the table, and that really didn't help at all. He also put a comet down right where you see those dice. So yeah, that could hurt. And then over here, yeah, he rolled a 9. he wiped out the harpies, rolled a 9, so he didn't get the charge into my horde, and now I've just got the most beautiful flank charge ever. Now, had he got the charge into my horde, he would have done a ton of wounds. I would have countercharged on my turn with this other gore unit in his flank, and I think I would have been okay. I think I would have won combat, but yeah, that's hard to know. Those Mornfang can put out a lot of hurt. So we go to Beastman turn 2. I get the flank charge with my horde unit into the flank of his Mornfang. That's as much as I could hope for. I mean, that really should go my way. I go ahead and charge my Minotaurs into his Noblars. One thing I need to do is to get my Doombull revved up. So, again, the Minotaur unit is probably going to die. I think I've already lost 3 of my Minotaurs. But if I can get a lot of Frenzy markers on my Doombull, he can be pretty nasty. My Bestigor go ahead and charge a Saber-Tusk who fled. So they are like that. Yeah, I'm thinking I should win that. There's the fleeing Saber-Tusk. And so the comet goes off. It kills one of my Minotaurs. It kills a bunch of Noblars. Who cares? It kills just a ton of Bestigor, who then flee their panic test, run away from the nearest enemy unit, and are like that. Darn it. Darn it. And that happened. Let's see, that would have happened at the beginning of my magic phase, so my level 4 is not going to have a magic phase here. And luckily, he doesn't have anything that can charge that unit. He just would have charged him off the board. Since I had nothing else to do, I went ahead and turned my level 2 into a black Hydra that looks suspiciously like a Gorgon. I had nothing else really to do with it. I tried to put +1 strength and toughness on the Minotaurs, and he dispelled it. I went ahead and got this spell off, thinking on his turn he can try to dispel it. Maybe burn some of his power dice or something. So after combat, yeah, I win. He broke. I decided to restrain, and then he didn't run off the board. And the only good thing is that his standard bearer died, and so therefore it's going to take him Snake Eyes to rally, and so I should be okay. That's a load off. The Noblars, of course, are dead. I overrun, and yeah, I'm going to get shot on his turn. You know, the lead belchers don't scare me too much. They're just going to kill the Minotaur unit. Their shots aren't going to hurt the Doombull. My fear is that now I don't get a lookout Sir roll, and he still has an Iron Blaster on the board. So my fear is that he would take that Iron Blaster and put a cannonball through my Doombull. So we go to Ogre's turn 2. He backs up like you can see. He actually ends up targeting his Iron Blaster against my mage who had turned himself into a Black Hydra. And yeah, I think he didn't do my Doombull because he just assumed he couldn't see through the impassable terrain, which I assumed you could. I mean, I would have let him do it because you could see through it. It's just some pillars there. But anyway, then it was kind of funny how it worked out because that the transformation spells remains in play and you can dispel it at any time. So I just told him going into it, if you target him, I'm immediately going to dispel the remain. I'm just going to get rid of the remains in play spell. And so in hindsight, the Black Hydra has regeneration. It probably would have been better just to go ahead and keep the spell up, let him shoot me, and if he hits me, just hope that I regen it. So anyway, I turn myself back into a wizard. He decides to shoot at him anyway, and then I fail my lookout Sir roll. Are you kidding me? So yeah, that's great. So my level 4 is fleeing towards the side of the board, and my level 2 is now dead. Yeah, he opens up with his lead belchers on my Minotaurs, and yeah, there's one guy left, and he has 2 wounds, and that's it. So we go to Beastman turn 3, it looks like this. My horde couldn't charge his Iron Blaster, or else I would have. But there's that piece of impassable terrain he's hiding behind. So they just moved a little bit. I don't really want to get my horde near his Gutstar because I'm just going to die. I mean, I can't stand up to that. I wanted to charge my Doombull out of the Minotaur unit into the Lead Belchers and just save that remaining Minotaur. But we just had a rules question that if a unit's frenzied, can you charge a character out? Because then the unit can't charge. And so, the question was, do you have to take a test first? And I just like, it doesn't matter. I'll just charge him in there. He can kill the Minotaur, and that's fine. And I mean, I just didn't know the rule, and it wasn't worth I didn't feel like, looking it up and dealing with it. If you look at the very top, the Bestigor unit rallied. Thought it was nice of him to do that. So with a small unit of Gore, I'm hoping to use them to take out this Iron Blaster. I need to get that thing, to stop that thing from shooting at me, because it's sitting there hiding behind impassable terrain that it can see through. It's just really bad. So there's that. I think with the Doombull revved up just a little bit like he is, I think I should win that. Yeah, so then during the magic phase, I didn't really have a whole lot. I wasn't in range to do anything. Like I wanted to send an Amber Spear at the Iron Blaster, but I was too far away. So so I put Curse of Honor here on the Gutstar, and it goes off Irresistible Force. I roll a 4. I don't get sucked into the void or the warp or whatever, but I do the Strength 10 large template just kills the Bestigor unit, who then fail their panic test and run off the board. That's fantastic. And then he has one of his characters has something on the Gutstar that there's something on the Gutstar so that any spell that targets him, he can push off onto another unit, or I have to target another unit. So the Lead Belchers here have the Curse of Honor here, which I don't care. If anything, I actually don't want it on him. But anyway. So the Minotaur, of course, dies. I win combat, and the Doombull now has 3 frenzy markers. Now he's getting fun to play with. He starts with 5 attacks, so he's at 8 attacks. Rerolling to hit is awesome. I'm wounding on 2s. I think he got a spell off where he gets +1 toughness, so at worst I'm wounding on 3s. Either way, it's pretty good. And then what's even better is every time he does a wound to me, it's pretty easy to save it, and those give me more attacks. So the Doombull is working up his awesomeness. Go to Ogres turn 3. Sabertusk just can't rally. He had to kind of maneuver his Gutstar so that it could fit through the gap between the impassable terrain and the Lead Belchers. And again, I don't really want to get in combat with him, so I'm kind of glad I've stayed back. So, yeah, after combat, it looks like that. So you see the Doombull now has 4 frenzy markers, and I think this is one where he had the toughness buff. He got the toughness buff, so I didn't do quite as many wounds to him, but I'm still doing pretty good. So Beastman turn 4, my Gore unit charges his Iron Blaster. My Doombull is still locked up with his Lead Belchers. My Horde is staying the heck away from that Gutstar. And I think it was somewhere around this point where I realized I really can't win the game. I mean, he has so many points in the Gutstar and I've lost so many units that I can't win it, I don't think. Because I can't see getting rid of the Gutstar. But that's okay. I mean, I was like, let's just see how this game plays out. This one I'm a little bit nervous about because, Gore can fail a lot. Strength 3. There's the Gutstar I want nothing to do with. We actually did a wound to the Iron Blaster, and when I did the wound, I was thinking that's probably going to be what I need. And sure enough, because of the wound, I won by 3, and then he failed his break test. By 1. So the wound was everything. So that was great. So we got the Iron Blaster off the board finally. And over here, yeah, my Doombull just rips into the remaining Lead Belchers. The only one remaining was his Musician, and the Musician was on his far right, my far left. And so when I pursued him, we went middle to middle, which is what took us at this weird angle like this. Because it looked like it would have gone straight ahead, but it doesn't work like that. I mean, the Musician was the only one left. So what happens there is I just opened up my flank to the Gutstar to charge my Doombull in the flank, and that is the weakness he has. He is very susceptible, well, just to combat res. I mean, if the Gutstar charges me, he'll have a charge, a flank, 2 banners, and 3 ranks. So he's starting off on 7, and I'll have 10 attacks. So I'll be starting with 10 attacks. So yeah. So he goes ahead and charges in. That just really doesn't look good. So he's got all the characters away from my Doombull, which, I mean, I really wanted to target him, but he was smart. He wasn't going to let that. I'm going to issue a challenge. He's going to refuse, and I'm going to send the Battle Standard Bearer back. Because my thinking is, I just need him. If I do happen to win, I'd rather him have a little bit higher leadership and not get the reroll, and I might get lucky. Of course, I'm not sure I'm going to be alive, much less win. He's strength 6, means every wound he does to me is going to be a 4 rerollable armor save. He's going to have impact hits. He rolled a 10, so he gets the ogre charge, so he has 3d3 impact hits. Yeah, take a good long look at that picture. So yeah, this guy needs Snake Eyes to rally. So the question here really is, can he stay on the board the rest of the game? And oh, that was awesome. The Doombull absolutely slapped the Gutstar. He came in. Tell you what, let's look at that again. Up, and oh, that does feel good. He came in. He did a bunch of impact hits. I saved them all and killed. I think I don't know how many guys. I want to say I don't know. I think I killed a guy just before he even got to strike, just from impact hits, saving them all. So I did all my attacks, killed a bunch of guys. He did all his attacks, and I saved all of them. I didn't take a single wound, turned around, all of the rerollable to hit, wounding on 2s. He absolutely annihilated that unit. It was so awesome. He failed his break test, so his both standard bearers broke or died, and of course I couldn't run him down and didn't expect to. Now the challenge here is I don't know how to capture him, because if my Doombull charges them, they're going to bounce through my horde unit and certainly be on the board. He really can't roll high enough to go off the board. He's just going to be safely tucked away where nobody else can charge him, and then he'll just rally there. If I charge him with my horde unit, it'll be the opposite. He'll bounce to my Minotaur, and I won't be able to catch him. So what I did was I charged my Battle Standard Bearer alone out, so they fled from him, bounced through the Doombull, and I needed an 8 to catch him, and I just didn't get the 8. So it was the only thing I could have. It's the only thing I could do to possibly catch him. So that would have been amazing. I would have all of a sudden just annihilated his whole army. But as it is, he is like that, and he's almost certainly going to rally. So we go to Ogres turn 5, and he rallies. He goes into bus formation, as you can see. He, of course, now has one character, his level 2 in the front rank I can target. His Slaughtermaster's in the second rank, which I can't. So again, when I charge in, I'll issue a challenge. This time he's going to accept it as champion. During his magic phase, he gets the comet off, and that does scare me a little bit, because that comet can certainly rip through my Doombull. It'll be strength 5, so I'll have a 3-up rerollable, so I might be okay, but that scares me a little bit. So Beastman turn 5, yeah, I charge in. Now, one thing to keep in mind too is during these magic phases, I think the last 2 magic phases, when he really, really needed some help, some magic buffs, he rolled like 2 or 3 power dice each time. So that's why you're not seeing a whole lot of buffs on his units. The comet does not go off, which is very much appreciated. I kill his champion with some overkill. He's steadfast again, leadership 8, and he fails it. So he runs away again. I'm not going to get these darn points, though. I mean, ugh. So we go to Ogres turn 6. Everything of his has run off the board except for the Gutstar. He has 2 characters in there, all the points for the Gutstar, and it's just a points denial. I can't get those points. I really needed something else in there with my Doombull to maybe run him down, but there's nothing. I mean, I could have charged my BSB in, but he just would have died. So, yeah, I just didn't have anything to go help out to run those guys down. So the end of the game looks like that. I've got two characters. He still has two of his characters. Um, yeah, so we added it up, and it ended up being a draw. So I think he was actually ahead on points by about 80. So I think the game turned out much closer and more in my favor than I expected it would. My Doombull did better than, well, probably better than he should have. I mean, all the attacks that went on me, 4 up rerollable. I should save 3/4 of them. The whole game, I took a single wound. And this has got to be one of my favorite moments in Warhammer ever. Seeing the Doombull just chase down this huge horde of Iron Guts. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.